Hey.
Huh?
You gonna do the intro?
Huh?
The intro.
Fine. Hello all, I'm Josh, this is Josh Builds Stuff, and today we are looking at this big beautiful box of nostalgia. This is the brand new LEGO Nintendo Entertainment System. This set was just released in August 2020, contains 2,646 pieces, is recommended for ages 18 plus, and costs $230. As an older fan of both LEGO and video games, I was super excited when this set was first announced. I was literally raised by a Nintendo, because my father left us at a very young age. That's not true, he was actually very attentive. He bought me my very first Nintendo, and then he walked out the door forever. Also not true, he's a wonderful man. I kept telling him he should start his own YouTube channel called John Builds Stuff, but he says YouTube is silly and anyone who uses YouTube is silly. Love you, Pop. Again, not dead. He lives upstairs. Also not true. This is a one-story house. He lives in Georgia. But boy, does this set bring back a lot of nostalgia. Let's take a look at the details. Alright, I was mostly joking before, but I really did own an NES as a kid, and I really did spend many hours playing with it. However, my experience looked a little more like this because I was the younger brother, which meant most of the time I was player 2. I don't know that we ever owned a TV that was quite this old, but we'll take a closer look at that in a second. Let's first look at the console itself. Seriously, LEGO did such a great job designing this console. It has this perfect look and feel and colors, and the labels and everything are in just the right place. I do think this console is slightly undersized, or I've grown a lot more as an adult than I thought I had, but I think it's slightly small, which is fine because I don't know that making it any larger would have added much more than just more pieces. Looking at the front here, we can see all of the classic labeling. These are all printed bricks, not stickers, which is great. It has this bit of interaction where you can open the front. The power and reset buttons aren't actually pushable, but as you saw, the controller ports are usable with the controller it comes with. As for the interaction on this side of things, we get this beautiful Super Mario Brothers cartridge. It looks really great across the front, is just the right shape. It does have no detail on the back, but that's fine. It's also slightly thinner than I think a cartridge used to be. But it has some playability because you can slide this cartridge into the Nintendo, and then you can push it down and it clicks into place, and then you can push it back up and it pops back out. And I think that is just so cool and such great, beautiful, wonderful interactivity. Can you tell I like it? I really like it. This top is relatively easily removable, I think, so that you can see the beautiful mechanics that are inside. I've described them as beautifully simple, and I think that's accurate. You can see if I stick the game in here, it sits on top of this tray. It gets kind of pinched between these wheels, and then when I push it down, it clicks into place. To try to show some of the mechanics at work in here, you can see that we've got this little Technic piece on a couple of Technic axles there that can slide. When I push the tray down, we get some resistance by that spring, but you see that it gets pushed into place with some sloped bricks underneath, and then it has a pin that's jutting out that direction, which locks it into place where you can see it now. When I push it down again, it hits some other sloped pieces that push it forward, and then it releases that pin on the other side and lets that tray pop right back up. As for the rest of the console, across the top we have these faux ventilation ports, which are accurate to the original Nintendo, and I think what adds to the accuracy a little more is that both LEGO and the actual Nintendo are both made of plastic. Along the left side here, we have the audio and video ports. The RCA cables would go in here. Kids these days don't even know what these are, but we used to have to plug in our video games via red and yellow cables, and we didn't even have HDMI back in the day. Can you believe it? Man, I'm so old. On the back, we have even more ports. I think these were like the power port, and I think this one in the middle is supposed to be the channel switch, because back in the day, you'd have to switch to channel 3 or 4 and tell your console which channel your TV was going to be on, or it wouldn't work. Again, I'm very old. There was a lot that you had to do to actually get a Nintendo working back in the day. One last beautiful hidden gem on this console is that LEGO could have left good enough alone, and yet if you open up this secret compartment on the side here, do you recognize what that is? That is the end of LEGO Super Mario Level 1-2. You know, the underground level with all the pipes and the cool music that do-do-do-do-do-do. Well, this is that level, and you can see some familiar platforms. I believe these orange pieces are the elevators that went up and down in opposite directions. This was the pipe that ended the level, but if you were running across the top of the level, like we all did as kids, and jumped over that pipe, you got into this special area with the 3 expansion pipes that let you warp to different worlds ahead of where you should have been, which we as kids always did. Again, this is such a great feature because LEGO did not have to add this. They could have left the console and the TV and the controller and the game as all of the pieces, and yet they still went above and beyond and added this little Easter egg to the side of the console. The controller here, like most of the rest of this set, is an absolute magnet for fingerprints, as you can see, but that just comes with the territory of having a mostly smooth surface. But I think this controller is beautiful nonetheless. Not any detail on the back, but we get the controller itself with a cord that plugs into the console. I think unlike the console, this controller is actually a little closer in size to the real thing, though the A and B buttons may be slightly oversized. Again, like most of this set, none of these printed pieces are stickers. They are all printed bricks, which I always prefer. Now, LEGO definitely did not stop the awesomeness of this set at the console. They included this big, beautiful brown TV. This is supposed to look like an old tube TV or a CRT TV. I'm not sure, but it's older than any TV that we ever owned, but I think it still would have fit the era when the Nintendo was out. Again, across the front here, a bunch of printed bricks, no stickers here. You've got the channel changer with some great clicking sound. Volume switch, a brightness knob, a contrast knob, this cool low-tech printed piece. I think this may have been the simulated speaker on the left side here. On the back of the TV, we still get a bunch of great detail, which is amazing because LEGO totally could have phoned this side of the set in. We've already got a console and a game and a Mario game that plays on the front of the TV, and yet they still went the extra mile to detail all this extra stuff on the back of the TV. We've got one of the few stickers on this set to show this cool vintage looking label. It's got, again, the red and yellow ports, some other ports on the left side. This piece, which is done with a barrel and a pin through it, which I think is supposed to be the cable line or the coax line. It even has a little antenna that clicks in and out of place that you can pop up when you're ready to watch some TV. Now on the front, the part that we're all here to see, there is a crank on the side, and as I turn it, the little Mario guy jumps through the Mario level, jumping over mushrooms and Koopas and Goombas, collecting coins, going down pipes, and jumping over gaps and completing the level. And I think this is so cool, both in look and feel and just the engineering of it, the mechanics of it. Every aspect of it is wonderful, except maybe the part of putting in all of these little bricks, because there are so many little 1x1 bricks in this set. It's crazy and my fingers hurt so badly, but the end result and the payoff is so great and I'm so excited about it, and it got stuck, but it gives me a reason to open up this set and show you the mechanics in here, because I've described them as beautifully simple and I'm wondering if others agree with me. So I've taken the TV off of its stand and removed the roof so you can see some of the inner workings of what's going on here. What we have here is this sort of rotating carousel of alternating lines of tiles, either 2 wide or 1 wide, and then 2 wide and then 1 wide, and it goes round and round. And obviously it is a loop. There are 4 large wheel gears that you can kind of see down in there that are locked into the 2 long rows of chain pieces. I think there's 30 little pieces of chain in each of those, and then the lines of tiles themselves hold all of that in place, and then they go round and round. And I actually thought this was like a playable game where you control Mario, but I think the fact that Mario sits on this round plate and kind of completes the course on his own is even more great. And now I bet you're asking, why are a bunch of these tiles colored, and what's this weird looking barcode thing there? Well, that may be my favorite part of the set, and I'll show that to you right now. This is the new Super Mario Electronic Bluetooth Big Figure. He just came out with the other Super Mario course sets, and I'll be honest, this bit of extra interaction is the entire reason that I bought this set, which I think was $50 on its own, and I ended up buying several expansions for it. So we'll look at those in a later video, but right now I'll show you why I bought that set. So as you can see, Mario has a little light sensor shooting out from underneath him, and these barcodes are what that light sensor reads. So I'll just show you what happens and then talk about it afterwards. So I'll go more into detail about this little guy when I review the actual Mario sets, but for this one, basically he reads this barcode first that kicks off the Super Mario theme, and then as he stands here, as the different tiles move underneath him, he interacts with those. And usually like a yellow tile would make him see sand, and like a blue tile makes him see water, and a red tile makes him see lava. In this case, because he's jamming along to the sound of that music, he actually interacts differently. So when he goes under the star on the actual course, he plays the star theme. When he jumps on a Koopa or a Goomba, he makes the squashing or the shell kicking theme. He jumps over a mushroom and he makes the mushroom sound. He jumps over a coin and makes the coin sound. So they added this super cool extra level of interactivity, but you have to pay like $50 for the extra set to get it. And in my opinion, it's worth it because I think those sets will be a lot of fun too. But this set is still super different from the actual LEGO Mario course sets, and yet they still decided to add this extra bit of functionality, even though we already get the console and its functionality, plus the TV and its functionality, and they decided to give us something even more. And so this is just another reason I love LEGO, because they could have stopped at the console or the TV, but they still added this extra interaction with this cool new technology that they're playing with. And they're rewarding us fans who spend a bunch of money on their big sets by giving us even more functionality and features. And to me, that's just another reason why I love LEGO. I do want to briefly talk about the build while we watch this speed build of the build. This was actually a really great build. At the surface, it may look like you're just building two boxes, but with all the added mechanics inside, there's actually a lot of really interesting build techniques that go into this. For the console alone, to get a bunch of the pieces to fit together just the way that they do, there are so many places where you're just building sideways and upside down and inverted, and they're all connecting and fitting into place really seamlessly. And what you end up with in the end is a big smooth box, but I don't think you would truly appreciate just seeing this unless you had actually built it yourself. Same goes for the TV. Obviously, it is so much more than a big brown box. With all of the Mario mechanics going on the inside, you actually spend the majority of your time building Mario's backdrop, which I'll admit is a little tedious because you have a ton of the smooth little 1x1 tiles, and most of the time you're just trying to get them to sit at decently right angles so that the whole background behind Mario doesn't look messed up. But when you finish it all, I think the end result is more than worth it. But the TV itself was still fun to build, even though it was a lot of brown. They added all the cool details on the front and the back, and couple that with all the internal mechanics, and you've got yourself a really fun build, resulting in an even more fun set. And you know, another thing that's very popular to do with Super Mario games is to speedrun them. And so, with the help of my trusty LEGO motor here, I am going to attempt the very first LEGO Mario speedrun. Here we go. If you're wondering why I said the mechanics of my TV broke earlier, it's because I was doing that. My final thoughts on this set: is this worth $230? Yes, in my opinion it definitely is, especially if you measure this set not in price per piece, but in price per jolt of nostalgia. In that case, you are in for a treat. To me, this set is the perfect blend of playability and displayability. Personally, I can't wait to get new shelves so I can put this new set on display. Meanwhile, my 3-year-old already loves playing with the Mario both on the TV and in this big new figure. As for me and my childhood, it was actually quite picturesque. We had 2 parents that loved us, a house we could call a home, rice cooking in the microwave, a 3-day beard we didn't plan to shave. It's a funny thing, but I just gotta say, I think we're doing all right. Thanks for liking and subscribing. I'll see you next time.
Hey man, you doing all right?
I will be. I will be.